The Sunday Times this morning thinks that it's got some sort of right to predict or influence the general election, and says that, as far as it's concerned, it's the right time for Labour to be entrusted with restoring competence to government, and the Conservatives had, quote, in effect forfeited the right to govern. Is this Rupert Murdoch trying to influence power after he's seen which direction the wind is blowing? It's a little bit too much, too late, and endorsements are of value, but they should have come earlier. And the editorial says that there has been an attempt by both the Conservatives and the Labour Party to avoid meaningful debate. That is an issue that has been ongoing since the collapse of David Cameron's government and the rise of sloganized repetition of mantras on both sides of the House has become standard practice. Theresa May, Boris Johnson. Boris Johnson was perhaps the best at this, and his influence in many ways continues, to the point where the House of Commons has become a ridiculous theatre of sound bites, a puppet show, exemplified best by Liz Truss's hand actions and her absurd grimacing like a child looking around for approval, or a dog checking to see that you've still got your hand on the other end of the lead. It's a form of madness. This isn't to say that these people are directly puppeteered. It is to say these people have been briefed and have learnt their script as best they can. The person who is the best at following a script is Rishi Sunak, who is simply staggering. His memory skills are without parallel, I think, in a modern politician. But at the same time, it's become increasingly lifeless and pointless. And the demand for a radical reset, well, the Sunday Times can make that demand, but it means nothing. It's just more hot air, because Sir Keir Starmer is cut from the same cloth. Sir Keir Starmer is a soundbite man too. And Sir Keir Starmer does it without any energy. So listening to Sir Keir Starmer is like listening to an I speak your weight machine rather than a parrot. I mean, it may be nice to have a Prime Minister who's not flapping his hands around, who doesn't have to stand in the mirror practicing hand jobs. But it's, no one is going to hanker for more Liz Truss, are they? It's not in your wildest dreams are you going to go to bed at night dreaming of Liz Truss in the morning. No one's going to do that in their right mind. Liz Truss is history. She demonstrated in 1 month how much damage a maladroit Prime Minister can perform with the power that is at her disposal. Now, I don't think, even in his worst scenarios, that Keir Starmer can do that much damage. But Keir Starmer is starting with assumptions which will not play out, in fact. The biggest assumption is the idea that money is available simply from clawing it back. That isn't going to happen. The Conservatives have already had plans to claw back money that has been erroneously taken or not paid in taxes. And the only way this is going to work is if more people are questioned or threatened by the system, because the system itself needs to change. Change the system of tax, simplify the system of tax, and money will be available. But that's not what Keir Starmer is proposing. Keir Starmer is proposing more heavy-handed thuggery by the system to claw back what it thinks is its right. There's going to be a lot of people who are very worried, and there's going to be a lot more people who are going to be faced with having to fill out the sort of paperwork that faces people trying to claim PIP. And much of that paperwork is pointless and terrifying because people don't understand the tax system. Why should they? We're not accountants. If we were all accountants, we wouldn't need to pay an accountant. And so, what is this going to do? And the other big headline grabber for Labour is VAT on private schools, and there is now speculation that would be illegal under ECH, European Court of Human Rights, ECHR laws, because it would be unfairly putting VAT on one form of education but not on other forms of education. I think that's a very interesting analysis put forward by Lord Panic, by the way, not me. And equally, I think the ideology underpinning that, the unspoken ideology about ridding the country of private education, is misplaced. I think there's every reason to demand an improvement of our education system. Our education system stinks. And more than that, I think through Ofcom, the problems of the state education now infect private education too. The entire system needs to be overhauled. And we need to pull back from the box-ticking, fact-feeding concept of this form of factory floor education, where children are just on a conveyor belt being ground out from primary school through to university on preordained tracks where they will be fed ideally useful subjects, so they will be able to regurgitate the information that has been taught in some sort of future environment. That, I think, is not education, and that, I think, is no longer going to be useful. What we need to do is to educate children to be adaptable and to be able to use their brains in differing and unexpected instances in later life. So we need to give them the tools to deal with change. And to do that, I don't think really the subject matter or the information they are being taught at any stage in their given education is a priority. The priority is the methodology. And the methodology in modern education is the secondary issue. It needs to be changed to become the primary issue. How you write, whether it's an essay or whatever it is, how you process information, how you use mathematics, rather than what. And so, from that point of view, a degree in needlework is as efficacious as a degree in classics or law or mathematics, as long as it is pursued with the same rigour. So the idea of dismissing certain subjects as Mickey Mouse degrees is nonsensical. There may well be Mickey Mouse degrees. In fact, I've seen some of them, and I've yawned at the presence of some of them, and at the sort of essays and nonsense that students doing, let's say, business courses, studying business, business management, doing a master's in business, the sort of rubbish. It's like It's like contemporary rap. It just put those initials together. The sort of rubbish which is expected, and some sociology type courses where you're only going to get an answer, where you're only going to get a result if you give the answer that your tutor has already fed you. So basically, the education system is producing robotic robotic yes men or yes women. Nonsense. We need people who have the skills to challenge the accepted direction of play. We need people who, in all walks of life, who are prepared to question, which means we need a better model for education. And it's not, we don't get something better by doing down what is already just about good. And the political ideology, the Conservatives call it the ideology of envy, which is targeting big schools like Eton, is also going to target the smaller schools, which are helping children with special needs. Those schools will be the ones that crash. And yes, indeed, as the Conservatives warn, state schools will then be flooded with an intake of new students whose requirements are a further drain on an already struggling system. Much better to harness the resources and just take this time to rethink the education of our nation, to rethink what Ofcom can actually provide. Ofcom can produce a valued service. At the moment, it's not. It's simply certifying present practice. It needs to be pushing for better practice, where skills rather than content are being taught, and skills are in short supply. Methodology is in short supply, and transferable skills at that.